know that feeling, right? When you are just completely stuck, staring down a tough choice where there is no easy answer. Well, what if I told you there's a trick from an 18th century philosopher that could be the key to unlocking those impossible decisions? Let's get into it. I mean, we've all been there. It's that classic analysis paralysis. You're just going around and around in circles, weighing the pros and cons until your brain feels like it's about to overheat. Think about a classic dilemma, like picking between job offers. One's got the amazing salary, but a terrible commute. The next has the perfect team, but the pay is just meh. And the third is your dream role, but it's in a really boring industry. You make lists, you build spreadsheets, and somehow you just end up more confused than when you started. And that's usually where things go wrong. We fire up a spreadsheet because we think scoring everything will give us the answer. But this method, the one we all default to, actually forces our brains to work in a way that's, well, it's not natural at all.
Here's the core of the issue. The spreadsheet demands that you assign these really precise scores to things that just aren't precise. Is the team culture a 7 out of 10 or is it an 8? I mean, honestly, what is the actual difference? It's mentally draining trying to put a number on something that's really just a feeling.
So let's look at this comparison, because this is where the light bulb goes on. The scoring method gets you totally bogged down asking, how much better is this? But the election method asks a much simpler, more human question. Just tell me, which one is better? You just rank them, first, second, third. No more agonizing over decimal points. And this is where the hero of our story comes in. This whole idea comes from the Marquis de Condorcet, a French philosopher who came up with a much fairer way to find a winner, whether you're talking about a political race or just a battle inside your own head. This is the big idea right here. It's not about who gets the most first-place votes. No, the real winner is the one option that proves its strength by winning every single head-to-head matchup. We're looking for the undisputed champion. So, our goal is to find what's officially called a Condorcet winner. It's the one choice that can take on all the others, one-on-one, and come out on top every single time. It has to win every single race. And this analogy is just brilliant because it makes it so simple. The things you care about, cost, location, team culture, those are your voters. The choices you're trying to pick from, the job offers, the vendors, those are the candidates. And your only job is to be the impartial election official and just count the votes. Okay, so let's get into it. We're going to use a classic business problem from our source material to see how this whole thing works in the real world. Let's say we have to choose a new software vendor. Time to hold an election. All right, here's our ballot. Our 4 voters are on the left. Cost, ease of use, features, and support. And they've each ranked our 3 candidates, vendor A, B, and C. You can see right away there's some serious disagreement. The cost voter is all about vendor C, but features thinks vendor A is the best. The stage is set. First matchup, it's vendor A versus vendor B. Let's count the votes. Okay. Ease of use and features both prefer A. That's 2 votes. But cost and support both prefer B, so that's 2 votes for B. And we kick things off with a 2-2 tie. No winner here. Okay, on to round 2. Vendor A takes on vendor C. Now this time, A builds a strong coalition. Ease of use, features, and support all cast their vote for vendor A. Only the cost voter prefers C. That is a clear 3-1 victory. Vendor A takes this round easy. And in our final head-to-head, it's vendor B against vendor C. So features and support vote for B, but cost and ease of use vote for C. And what do you know? It's another 2-2 tie. So after all that, nobody won all of their races. So what does this mean? Did the method just fail? No, absolutely not. This is actually the method succeeding brilliantly. It's showing us exactly why this decision is so hard, because there isn't one single option that actually dominates the others. A spreadsheet might have hidden this conflict behind some tiny, meaningless decimal point. The Condorcet method puts the conflict right in your face. Now here's where we get to see the method's true power, when a real consensus choice actually does exist. So let's change just one single preference in our rankings and rerun the whole election. Watch what happens. Here's the new table. Look really closely. The only thing we've changed is that the cost voter now prefers vendor A over vendor B for its second choice. That's it, just one small shift in preference. So now, let's rerun that critical first matchup, A versus B. And look at that. Because of that one tiny change,
Vendor A now gets the vote from cost, along with ease of use and features. It completely flips the result from a tie to a decisive 3-1 victory for A. And just like that, we have a winner. Vendor A had already beaten Vendor C, and now it soundly beats Vendor B. It has won every single one of its head-to-head races. Vendor A is our undisputed Condorcet winner. So the really crucial point here is this. The method is incredibly powerful, but you have to understand what it's for. It's a tool, and like any tool, it has its strengths and its limits. And here's the best part. You can try this yourself. It's a really simple 4-step process. List your options, list what you care about, have each of those criteria rank the options, and then just run the matchups. It's that straightforward. So let's lay it all out. The pros are huge. It's simple, it's intuitive, and if you do find a winner, it's incredibly easy to explain why. The main downside is that, as we saw, you can end up in a tie. That's the Condorcet paradox. Also, it doesn't tell you the margin of victory, just who won. You know, at the end of the day, this method isn't a magic wand that makes tough decisions just disappear. What it is, though, is an amazing tool for bringing clarity to complexity. It breaks a huge, overwhelming problem down into a series of simple, one-on-one contests to see if a true consensus choice exists. So think about it. That big decision that's been rattling around in your head, the job offers, the next project, even just where to go on vacation. What would happen if you stopped trying to score it and instead you just put it to a vote? You might just find the clarity you've been looking for.